DanTDM has finally responded to the whole Lunchly controversy, and to be honest, it's pretty hilarious. So if you guys have been living under a rock for the past few months, basically KSI, Logan Paul, and Mr. Beast launched Lunchly, which was claimed by Dumb and Dumber to be a healthier alternative to the ever so popular children's lunch kits Lunchables. Well, when they released Lunchly, it was hit with massive criticism, most notably because it was literally marketed to children as a healthy product, when in reality it's still just processed junk, just like Lunchables. Now, after the launch of Lunchly, it prompted DanTDM to tweet this out. He said, "What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does it benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. Do better." And after that tweet, the Three Stooges basically just started to crash out, and most notably was KSI, who was literally having a midlife crisis over this tweet. I mean, DanTDM was literally living rent-free in KSI's head. Actually, he wasn't even living rent-free. He literally evicted KSI and just moved into his noggin. KSI then quoted Dan's tweet with this tweet that says, "Look like crap to me," showing some of DanTDM's products that he has released to his children fan base. KSI then quoted his own tweet and said, But he was talking about food, JJ. He was sponsored, then promoted, and made a whole video on Munch Pack, a monthly sub box full of food and candy to his Minecraft audience full of kids. Now what?" Basically talking about how DanTDM was once sponsored by some food monthly subscription thing where it would just give you a bunch of candy and chips and stuff like that. But then people found out that was like 10 years ago, so people were like, all right, well, KSI, you still look like a moron. And I think KSI tweeted about it, I think like 12 more times or something like that, or mentioned Dan like 12 times. I mean, he even made videos where he was just genuinely pissed off.
Bringing up a harmless DanTDM video from 9 years ago, but I wasn't the one complaining! I'm just replying to Dan! Am I not allowed to reply to Dan? He came at me! Logan Paul and Jimmy's situation isn't to do with me. When I had the whole situation with the P word, I'm not there like, Logan, have my back. Jimmy, where you at? Save me. I had to deal with the situation myself. So what does this mean? The fuck? These motherfuckers are complaining about a lunch kit. That's what this whole thing is about. A lunch kit. You're going down a path I can't follow. Because I made a lunch kit. I'm dead. I'm dying.
All the while, DanTDM is literally just living his life, not responding, and just watching KSI crash out. It was literally the biggest troll of all time. Dan called Lunchly shit, and KSI made himself look like the biggest clown on the internet for non-stop talking about it, while Dan just stayed completely silent. It was truly a beautiful sight to see. I mean, if you guys were on Twitter while all of that was going down, I mean, that shit was peak entertainment. Well, after like 2 months of Dan not saying a word, he sat down on Tommy Innett's podcast and talked about the whole Lunchly controversy. He talked about his tweet, and then he also talked about the current state of YouTube and YouTubers, and they were most notably talking about Logan Paul. So yeah, let's get right into this.
Tom speaks highly of your aura. I really do.
Well, yeah, with the whole Twitter stuff that happened, the aura was quite strong.
That's what he goes on about. I
couldn't believe that. It was like,
was it mad?
Yeah, like the whole, it felt a bit Game of Thronesy. Like the whole internet like had my back, which was kind of wild.
Oh yeah, it was really cool. Was it? Were you just sat in your room like, this is a bit mad?
Yeah, it was a bit ridiculous for like.
It was
like
awesome.
2 weeks.
And then the living the dream. Living the dream was crazy. Mate, he's been crying for like 2 weeks straight, and you come in and just like, I have a great life.
I think the reason why literally the whole internet was behind DanTDM was because Dan is not one to get into drama, while KSI, on the other hand, loves the drama and loves to go back and forth with people. You know, his ego's too big just to let things go. He always has to, you know, win the match or win the conversation. I mean, people just saw how dumb KSI made himself look, and a lot of people also agreed with Dan's tweet about Lunchly, so of course they stood by his side. Even a lot of KSI's fans were making fun of him for crashing out.
He couldn't get round his head why. I don't think he's never not been the top dog before. The way I described it is like, if you're in school and like me and Jack are year 8s and he's like a year 10, and then for the first time ever, the really kind year 11 goes, no. And he's like never had that happen before.
I think it was just more as well, like I couldn't be bothered to like fight. Like he loves the whole back and forth. That's what the whole boxing stuff's
what he
about.
wants,
like I get it.
Yeah.
I understand it. But it was funnier to not feed into it because
it's just exhausting.
You just watch it happen. It was was fun.
Was it fun?
It was
just to
fun.
sit back and.
It was funny.
I just didn't get it, man. Oh. It was so funny as viewing.
Oh, Dan, you sneaky dog. I couldn't imagine being KSI and having DanTDM, who is probably one of the most respectable YouTubers on the planet, flat out just call your product shit, and then, you know, you try and turn the situation around on him and, you know, try to take jabs at him, and then he's just flat out silent. Especially with an ego like KSI's, I mean, I couldn't imagine what the young lad was going through. It's funny, though, to see that at least Dan was having fun with the whole situation as well. You know, he wasn't taking it too seriously. He was just, you know, sitting back, reclining, playing some Minecraft, and watching KSI just create the biggest clown show of all time.
He got like I think the thing, it was just crazy how, because you didn't really go for him that badly. You were just like, I think it's a bit of shit.
Yeah.
And he just like lost his mind.
I didn't feel like I went in that badly.
You
Maybe
really
the do
didn't.
better was quite harsh, but
Fuck off. I mean, don't do that, Dan. That was fine.
I just want to say that I never really watched DanTDM that much growing up. I mean, obviously I knew who he was, but I didn't know, you know, that much about him. But he just seems like seriously the nicest dude on the planet. Like, KSI has been going after him for 2 months, you know, just nonstop mocking him and tweeting about him. And Dan thinks that when he said to do better, that was too harsh. Oh, what a nice lad, innit? Also, I'm pretty sure like KSI like borderline cussed him out in like one of his videos or something like that. I would have to look, but yeah, KSI hasn't been the nicest to Dan after his little lunchly tweet, and I still just think it's so funny that KSI reacted like that over a tweet like that. Kind of just shows that KSI really does care what DanTDM has to say, and that, you know, he didn't really like being called out by probably, like I said, one of the most respectable YouTubers on the planet. So yeah, I think Dan just really messed with KSI's head.
I think some of it as well was interesting, where I think he thought that it was all my fans going for him, when actually I don't
It was
think
his
that
fans.
was the case.
No, it was the internet.
It was
Yeah.
just, yeah, it was like, I think,
You know what we were saying earlier about when you have an impact beyond today and yesterday?
Yeah.
Like, it's that. It's like, you raised us all, man. I was watching in year 4. Like, you know, and that's so special.
it wasn't like you could make a message like, guys, stop. Like, these people aren't the people actively watching the videos,
Yeah.
particularly. Like, these are the people that just, like, have fond memories.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
It
was a very good time to be online.
It was
It
so
was. It
interesting.
really was.
I was just in New York and I didn't know any of it had gone on. I was on FaceTime. I was just getting sent meme after me, and just getting read out. It was because when all 3 of them clapped back,
Oh, yeah.
and you were just 1v3 in. It was like,
You know what's funny as well? My wife was always like, just think before you tweet. That was one time I didn't really think too much before tweeting. Usually I'll type it out and be like, no, I can't bother, delete it.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell her for like 3 days, and she's not on Twitter really. So I didn't tell, and then I kept getting notifications from my phone. I was like, oh, Logan Paul's responded. Jimmy's messaged you. KSI's responded. I was like, well, I'm gonna have to mention something now.
what was that like? What was it like? Hey, babe. So
Yeah. She was like, oh, well, I agree with you, but maybe you should just not kind of like stoke the fire anymore. I was like, okay, that's fair.
yeah.
Yeah,
That-
It was just
and
one
I
of them
think that's-
moments where I was like, oh no, it's actually getting out of hand.
Dan is like borderline apologizing for the tweet and saying that, you know, he should have thought before he tweeted. But I think his tweet was literally like the perfect response to, you know, the Lunchly announcement. Like, it was probably the nicest way of saying like, hey, you guys are money hungry. You don't care about children's health like you claim. Your product isn't healthy. We see right through the BS. Like, Dan, you don't have to apologize for the tweet. And I think that tweet really just like encapsulated like everything that everybody was thinking.
It did get a bit out of hand, didn't it? And
Yeah.
yet you did nothing. Like,
I know, yeah.
yeah, it was so sick. It
So
was
mental.
it was the highest aura I've seen anything. And just like drop that, leave it, and then
Maxed aura.
it was. It
You
is
did max out
Dan,
the stat.
I can't emphasize enough. It is at a max right now.
Okay, I'll take
It is. It. Oh, wow.
So that's pretty much Dan's response to his Lunchly tweet and also his response to KSI. But next, Dan also talks a lot about like the whole state of YouTube and YouTubers, and I just wanted to include this part in because I think what he is saying is pretty interesting, and it also kind of ties back to his, you know, original Lunchly tweet.
But I feel like the internet now is just so negative.
Really?
Everything is negative. Everyone
Is that
seems
different from
angry.
before? Because when I
think
was
so.
like
I'm not sure.
2018, it didn't feel as negative, but I was
I
also
don't
a
think
kid.
so,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Because I feel like controversy and negativity just gets more like interactions. So
Yeah.
it just seems to be the loudest on there. I don't know if there's more negativity. It's just the loudest part of the internet.
Yeah.
So I will say, since I literally make videos about, you know, like drama and controversy, is that I think recently there has been a huge tide shift to where people are gravitating towards real. Like with the whole Mr. Beast thing, like Mr. Beast did some shady things and people, you know, gravitated towards wanting to know the truth behind, you know, what Mr. Beast did. Like it's not necessarily because people like negativity. Like, yeah, I'm sure that's like, you know, an underlying factor. People just, you know, I feel like want real and they want transparency and honesty. And like, that's why Dan's Lunchley tweet, you know, did so good. You know, it wasn't that people, you know, loved his negativity. You know, it was because Dan was being real and called out people who weren't being real.
Jacksepticeye said like he was one of the first people that posted about this forest being like, well, sorry, I don't think this is any good. And then it turned into like the thing.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And maybe with the Lunchley stuff as well, that's probably a similar thing. I was like, this is going too far.
Yeah.
You can push it to a point, and Logan should really know that if you push something to a point, like you're going to go too far.
He's had his experience.
You think he would have learned, but what we've learned consistently is that he doesn't learn much.
Me and Molly did a thing on his Wikipedia. It's a list of his controversies, and he has some mad ones. Like he tased a rat once, a dead rat. He tasered it.
Was that the daily vlogs? They were pretty wild.
Yeah, he did it. He sort of...
Yeah, again, Logan Paul was saying that, you know, it's easy to hate on him because he's successful and he's creating multi-million-dollar businesses, so it's just, you know, easy as a depressed little loser to hate on him. But it's like, no, people hate him because he did shady things or he did, you know, morally unright things. Like the forest incident and the tasing the rat. And let's not even mention like the crypto scam. Like people see right through Logan Paul and people know that he is not necessarily a great person. So of course it's easy to hate on him. Like people want real and Logan Paul is not real. And that's why people gravitate towards people like DanTDM because he is real. You can tell he's real. You can tell he's genuine. And it's like, that's what people want nowadays.
Filming a corpse is surely, I can't understand how like you get that morally clouded.
Yeah.
Where just anything in your brain goes,
cool. You're just so caught up in just views. You're just so, that's your tunnel vision.
Yeah.
It must have been.
Yeah, because I can, you know what? I can almost understand being so tunnel visioned that you point a camera at it, right? Because in the moment you're just capturing everything.
But then editing it and
editing it,
and
surely you'd go,
as well.
fuck me, that's terrible. And like, remove it.
But yeah, I just wanted to make this video talking about, you know, how Dan finally responded to the Lunchley controversy and also to KSI. You know, I think his response was pretty funny, and I'm not gonna lie, after watching this podcast, I really do like Dan a lot. I mean, he's just a nice guy and a genuine person. Literally like polar opposite of KSI and Logan Paul. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe with post notifications on. Also, let me know down below what you guys thought of Dan's response, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out.